You are being recorded. Hello, this is our front door at the Walters residence, and our new front porch, which is great, and I'm just going to walk down the front steps. Spring is here. It's raining today. Of course, we have our alert. Occupant has autism, may not respond to requests. Anyway, looks like the rhododendron is gigantic as ever. We cut this thing back like 1/4 this size. It refuses to die. It's been here since probably the house was built. But I did want to highlight, before the rain takes it all away, the flowers of the trees. You know, the crabapple here. It's got some nice pink. A lot of the flowers are huge yesterday. They got partially knocked down. Japanese maples are looking good. There's one. There's the other one right there by our water pump, which we don't use too much. This bush here, I wish I knew what it was, but there it is. And then Rose of Sharon, which is not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Thought there was more to it. The apple tree, which has, it got overloaded last year with fruit, so it broke basically. These are some kind of, let's see here. This was a serviceberry tree. This one right here, it had some white flowers on it. Those got gone. It's kind of sparse. That tree has never done well. But this one and the other side of this Japanese maple. See, here's the crabapple. Anyway, this one here, both doing nicely. They've gotten so huge. They were just little babies that we got from the Arbor Day Foundation. At this point, 15 years ago. So time does grow trees. It does well. Again, here's the crabapple. Here's the other apple tree that got seriously injured in the snow in 2011. Fall of 2011, broke a whole bunch of branches. What other fun flowery stuff do we have here? This bush, which has these nice red flowers on it. And as I go around the back, the lilacs are trying to do something. So that's nice to see, right? And then past our crummy gray shed here are the dogwoods. So we have a dogwood tree there. There's a couple more in the woods. The leaves are half on the trees, I'd say, at this point. It's May, what is today's date? 12th, May 12th, Saturday. Yeah, spring is in the air, so to speak. It's the way it is when you're close to the New Hampshire border anyway. And then this is looking back towards the newer apple tree and the other Japanese maple. And of course that bush, that cool bush. Awesome. Anyway, yeah, this is life in the woods. Our forsythia plants, maybe it's just because of what we did. They did in the town bloom in May, which is late. Ours, we planted some like there and there, in back there behind this, that's out front here. In by the rock wall. And they haven't taken any color, really. So I guess that's something. This is a swale I sort of cut into the yard in February when it warmed up a little bit to help drain the water. So the water, it's hard to see the slope of the land, but it's kind of like a high spot here, and then it slowly slopes that way. Well, the fun part is when you have the septic lines come out, and that over 15, 20 years or whatever since they had the septic done kind of sunk, and the water got directed out this way. So this kind of helps make it slope off that way, and then we'll get some grass seed in there. What else? All these little flowering things in the yard. They're so cute. Yeah, things are happening. Now, this area always gets mossy. up under here. These trees, I literally just, what was it, 10 years ago said, I don't feel like mowing. Bunch of trees. They just grow. Throughout the yard, this section of the yard I did not mow. I mowed over there and around the front, but it shows some of the weeds popping up, which is normal in between the grass. But there were large sections of the lawn out front with like 2-inch tall trees. And I mean like a bazillion, and I don't see any here at the moment. I was hoping to, oh, here's one. Yeah. Stuff like this. It's like, oh, hi, I'm here. I want to grow. So that's the moral of the story is out here. This is another swale I cut because this was like a lake back in and around here. And so I just kind of cut that down a bit. I think that water backup happened when we started adding soil to our garden, so that made it higher. The general lay of the land is that's uphill. It's very slight, but that's uphill. And that's downhill, and then this got here. So then the water just built up all in here, all in front of the shed here. And so I cut this down probably a good 6-7 inches, and I'm trying to shape it so that during heavy rains it'll drain out. During lighter rains, the soil is kind of sandy, so it's no big deal. So now we're walking behind the green shed here. I just want to get closer to the dogwoods before they decide to shed their flowers. Their flowers are pretty awesome looking, I must say. Here, focus on that. There we go. And then there's more of this stuff. Then there's these little purple flowers at random. They're kind of cute. And then poison ivy, evil! Yeah, the woods are full of poison ivy. So once that grows up again, I'll just do my normal yearly mission of ripping poison ivy out all day, every day. These maple trees have grown up quite a bit. I kind of made a point of keeping them. They were not that big when we moved here in 2001. It's 2018, 17 years does a lot. If they were 3 or 4 inch trees before, it's now good, almost foot diameter at the base. It's nice to see, right? There were so many giant pine trees in and amongst through here, all the way to the front when we moved here, in here. In fact, I'll try and post a picture in with this video, but even with the front of this shed were pine trees, and I mean giant ones, including one that was about here, and it was overshadowing the house. It was aiming kind of towards the house. That was a scary one to get down. We finally got that one down. And this whole region here was just giant pine trees, like those, all the way between the houses. And over the years we got rid of them, and now, let's see what we have, huh? This is a cherry tree that, for lack of a better term, is on top of the stump of the old cherry tree that was here. And we just let it grow up, and by golly, it entirely enveloped the old stump. And while this one side is kind of leaning a bit, I might trim that back. It's amazing. It just took it over, enveloped the whole trunk underneath. Who knows, maybe someday it'll rot out, but boy, it's pretty healthy at this point. No argument there. What else? This is a maple. And then, of course, we get extra trees that just pop out of the ground at free random. So having a million little trees next to each other, probably not the best. This is probably an oak or something like that. So we'll have to figure that out. And that might be an ash. Anyway, rule of thumb. Even if you don't plant it, it'll grow. This was planted though. This is a spruce. Planted when Evan was in Cub Scouts. It's taken years to get to the point where it's now 4 feet tall. But someday it might become something seriously large. Anyway, that's the story. This is our yard. And then this is our house. And the new front steps from this winter that we got installed, very nice. And then the apple tree. This is what it's like. Got multiple colors, at least in May, before everything just turns plain green. During hot summers, even the, I'm facing south, by the way, so that line of trees that we have on that side shades a lot of things till much later. During hot summers, that tree turns green. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that's a tour of our yard and our new front steps. Have a nice day.